Welcome to the Catholic Sobriety Podcast MINISODE. These shorter episodes provide quick tips and information that you can refer back to when you need it most, so you can achieve and maintain your desired level of sobriety. I am your sobriety coach and host of this podcast, Christy Walker. Let's get started. Welcome back to another Catholic Sobriety Minisode. So the other night I was at a class and my husband texted me because he and our 10-year-old son were home and they were watching this game show called Snake Oil. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this game show. It's kind of has a funny premise. So it's kind of like, it kind of reminds me of Shark Tank, where you have like these products and one of the products is real and one of the products is not real. And so you have to guess which one, or the contestants, but you can play along at home, have to guess which of the items is an actual product and which one is not. So thus being snake oil. It's just this funny show, and spoiler alert, a lot of times like the thing that you're like, for sure, that's not a thing anyone would buy. And it's a thing like people buy. So anyway, they were watching this game show and my husband texts me and he said, this lady on snake oils just said mocktails for the sober curious. And then he wrote, haha. And then he said, maybe that's a phrase you use. And I texted him back and I'm like, I do use it. It's a thing. So I thought, well, maybe I should talk about that today, because perhaps there are some people out there that haven't heard the term sober curious, or if you've heard it, maybe you're just not exactly sure what that means. So what does it mean to be sober curious? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. You're getting curious about what it would be like to reduce your alcohol intake or eliminate it completely. And before you can take steps to even really do that, the first thing you have to do is observe yourself, your drinking habits, why you're drinking, how much you're drinking, what triggers you're drinking, when you have urges, and all those kinds of things. It's also really important to start thinking about what thoughts you have that create certain feelings and emotions that drive you to want to have a drink. So there's a lot that goes into it, but you don't have to just start out from the gate and say, okay, I'm just never going to drink again. Obviously you can if you want to, but one of the best ways to be consistent and maintain the level of sobriety that is right for you is to first get curious, be a scientist, be a detective, start asking yourself questions, really observing yourself. Sober curiosity is about exploring our relationship with alcohol and then making conscious decisions from a place of peace about how and why and when we drink. Now, this movement is resonating with women globally, and for good reason, because we have been bombarded with this messaging from big alcohol influencers, TV, music, movies, you name it. It has saturated our culture. We are an alcohol-soaked culture where women are encouraged to cope with motherhood, numb out. Alcohol is promoted and promised to us as this elixir that is going to fix it all. Remember those, I remember being a little kid and being home from school and like sick at home watching The Price is Right. And then like a million of these Calgon commercials would come on, right? Like, Calgon, take me away. So it used to be Calgon would help dissolve all your worries and make you feel so good at the end of the day after a hard day. And now it's this mommy wine culture. It's this connection and alcohol, and that we need it because we aren't strong enough as women or as mothers to find healthier ways to cope. It's just like, here's this alcohol Band-Aid, drink it. Well, it doesn't do a lot for us, right? It disrupts our sleep. It can affect our gut health. It makes us even more anxious than we were before we started drinking, which was the reason that we drank. It gets us stuck in a shame cycle loop, which I have a podcast episode on that. It just doesn't give us everything it promises. That being said, I have many clients that are like, I don't want to give up drinking completely. I want to just be able to use it in a way that is celebratory, where I'm calling the shots, I'm in control. I'm just getting so tired of feeling like it's controlling me. And I think that that resonates with a lot of women. I think that that is what many people are thinking, especially after COVID, right? We just kind of didn't have to worry about driving places or what people thought of us if we were drinking too much, or maybe we were bored, so we were drinking. So I've noticed a lot of women that I speak with, that is really when their alcohol use escalated. And even though they've maybe been able to kind of dial it down a little bit, they are still feeling a lot of chaos around alcohol and the way that they're drinking, and they're not happy with it. That's where the Sober Curious movement comes in. As I said at the top of the show, you get to look at your drinking as an observer without judgment, and decide what is alcohol giving you and what is alcohol taking away. Now, for Catholic women, this movement is not just about reducing alcohol intake. It's about being able to maintain and cultivate our relationship with God. We want to live a life that is based on the values of our faith. And we want to know that we are doing the best in our vocation as wives and mothers, or whatever our calling is. Now, sobriety is not foreign to Catholicism. It's a concept that's embedded within the core tenets of our beliefs. It's about living a life of intention and values, of temperance. It's a life that's centered on God's teaching and the ability to hear God's voice. So when we cope or numb or whatever we are doing, when we are over drinking, overeating, over scrolling, whatever it is, to try to just feel better, when we are turning to creation instead of the creator, then we aren't getting the resolution that we would get if we decided to take our worries, our anxieties, our struggles, and lay them at the feet of Jesus. Therefore, when we embark on this sober, curious journey, we are not just reducing our alcohol intake, we're actually aligning our lives with God's teaching, and we are pursuing His purpose for our life. And when we do that, then we live lives of more peace, more joy, and more fulfillment. Now, the benefits of the sober, curious movement are numerous. As Catholic women, we often lead busy lives, from career to family obligations, homeschooling, etc. And those can all leave us feeling depleted. And again, though drinking alcohol may feel like a good way to cope with stress and anxiety, studies show that it only worsens it. And by the way, I don't know about you, but my memory is not the greatest, and alcohol has actually been shown to actually shrink our brains. Therefore, by choosing to explore our relationship with alcohol, we're choosing to engage with a life that honors the authentic versions of ourselves. Our bodies, ladies, are temples of the Holy Spirit. And if we really think about that and know that, then we will do our best to honor this one beautiful body that our Lord gave us that houses our immortal soul. Alcohol darkens our will and our intellect, which means that it can block us from experiencing God's grace and hinders our spiritual growth. We can remain spiritually immature or maybe even not produce the good fruit that God has for us. So when we as Catholic women embrace our sobriety, we create a deeper connection within our faith, within our families, within our parishes and communities, and we are open to experiencing and encountering Jesus and receiving his grace freely and fully. So when we decide to drink less or not at all, it actually has a ripple effect on other people because people see us not drinking or, being very discerning about how much and when we drink. And that's kind of infectious. It's like, oh, well, they can do it. And, they seem happy and comfortable and funny, hilarious, dare I say. And and we don't even need alcohol to do that. So when we do that, when we show up that way, it encourages others to also look at their relationship to alcohol and decide whether or not it's serving them. Because maybe it's not. Maybe they're struggling silently and they haven't said anything. And your example or your encouragement just gives them hope that they don't have to go on living in the chaos that they are. So if you are a Catholic woman looking for a healthier, vibrant lifestyle, the Sober Curious movement is an amazing place to start. I mean, you can even just use Sober Curious in hashtags and look up different posts about, sobriety. You can look up Sober Curious movement. That'll bring up things and just kind of get curious and see what's out there and what people are saying about it, what they have to say about their own journeys. You can follow people along. And sometimes you will see people that are really struggling and then they have a stint of sobriety and then they struggle again and then they have another big chunk of time when they are sober. And it's really just beautiful to see this not because people are falling, but because they're getting back up and they're continuing on. Once you start this journey, your drinking will never be the same. It won't be as carefree. And every step you take toward learning about how you drink and why you drink is just going to move you closer to where you want to be, to the level of sobriety that is right for you. When you have a moment of weakness and you drink, do not take that as a failure. Take that as a learning experience. And that's the best time to ask yourself questions and journal and reflect. And most of all, pray and ask God what he wants you to know from this experience. It's beautiful. It is life-changing. You will be transformed and you will not be disappointed, I promise. Well, that wraps up today's episode of the Catholic Sobriety Minisode. Thank you so much for joining me. And please be sure to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss a thing. And remember, I am here for you. I am praying for you. You are not alone.